rise with the prayer and pledge of allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Good evening, everybody. We are going to start this evening with item D, the Bright Mountain Solar presentation. We have Harry Phillips here from AMP to share, but Lori, I'll kick it to you first for any commentary you'd like to add.
Okay, so we invited Harry Phillips, who is Director of Member Relations for AMP, to come and help us out with a little more explanation and answer some of your questions about the Bright Mountain Solar project. And so I'm sure he'll have everything that we need, and thank him very much for coming. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Having everything you need, I hope to.
Well, Harry, thank you again for coming.
Oh, my pleasure.
Appreciate it.
I had some, the presentation passed out to you. I'm just going to kind of go through, it's sort of a mini power supply, as it were, just to kind of give a little more color as to what it'll look like for the city of Napoleon. The first page is basically the three types of charges that we see. There's energy, which is a variable cost. Transmission and install capacity. Now, the thing about transmission and install capacity, these are fixed costs, fixed cost for the city. And actually, they're becoming more and more a part of the actual invoice now. The price of power itself, yes, it's kind of rising, but the actual cost to deliver has been going up more steadily. So, and I'm going to get into that here as to what that actually looks like for the city. But just to kind of give you an idea of actually what that is. On page 4, or slide 4 rather, this is Napoleon's energy sources in a pie chart. So you can see the solar phase 1 that you're currently a part of is 0.9%, and net market is 17, NIPA. JV5, AMP Hydro, 11, Meldal is another hydro, 1.6, and Green Up, same thing, another hydro at 0.8. AFEC, the Fremont plant, very near here to the city of Napoleon, and of course Prairie State. So what I'm going to address in this is what the net effect would be if you add this particular project, Bright Mountain Solar, to this portfolio that you have. I'm going to step through on the next one on page 5. Very briefly, just kind of going over the projects currently, the assets that Napoleon is involved in. The first of which is, and these are in greatest to descending order of participation. So there's about 8 megawatts, closer to 9, 8.7, that you're committed to for the Fremont natural gas plant that came online in 2012. Debt collection goes through 2038. Prairie State, just about 5 megawatts for the city of Napoleon. There's a coal plant out there that came online in 2012. The debt collection for this goes through 2046. On the next page is the listing of all the hydros. JV5, the Belleville project, just about 3 megawatts there. AMP Hydro, which is actually 3 different hydro plants, Smithland, Cannleton, and Willow Island. That part there, you get about almost 3.5 megawatts. Meldal is about 500 kilowatts, which is about half a megawatt. Green Up, 330 kilowatts, about a third. And NIPA, based upon the residential meters that you have, you get 940 kilowatts from the NIPA project. On the next page, this is the solar phase 1 that you, St. Mary's, and Waynesville are a part of. The actual solar field is right here in Napoleon. Your portion, of course, is 1.4 megawatts out of the 3.5. You've already paid off the debt on this, so, you know, this is this particular project here, you've paid that off, unlike the others that have not. But I want to draw your attention here to the bottom of that, where the project rate is $87. And what I want to do is kind of make a comparison between this and the Bright Mountain that's coming up. So Napoleon, like I said, has paid this off. Right now, the project rate is $87, and I'm going to kind of show you the comparison between the two. On slide 8, this is another graphic here that kind of depicts what the portfolio looks like. So this goes out through 2036, and I'll draw your attention up to the top there, that white and red hatch, that's your exposure to the net market. So just to give you an idea, all your assets are all here, and then I'm going to show you what that looks like in that particular portfolio when we add in the Bright Mountain Solar. On page 9, a little bit more about the actual project itself. This Bright Mountain Solar project is owned and operated by Avangrid. It's the same owners as Blue Creek Wind. This is scheduled to go online January 1 of 2028. This is a 25-year term, so we'll go out to 2052. And the unique thing about this particular project is that it does qualify for the Investment Reduction Act. So that savings has already been baked into this. So this has already been applied for the IRA, and now it satisfies all the requirements. So going forward, it will be able to take advantage of the tax credits that otherwise would not be able to do that. On the next slide, a little bit more about it. What we're proposing, and by the way, this particular presentation was put together by the planning department. They have a recommendation for the city of Napoleon for 3 megawatts of the project. This would be 4% energy supply, 5% of total power from 5% of total power from solar with AMP Phase 2. So you can see we're not adding a whole lot more to your portfolio in terms of we're keeping within that threshold of 10%. This is a PPA, so it's not an asset like the AMP Solar is. There's a fixed rate. There's no ownership and no liability to this. Whereas, you know, all the other assets that you're in, you have a part ownership in that, and there is obviously, you do still have a contract with this, but it's much more limited in scope. There's a availability guarantee with this, which means that if there's no delivery of solar energy, you don't pay for it. And this is in front of the meter, whereas your particular site here, like many of the other sites that we have, are behind the meter. So this one's out in front, which means we're not going to get transmission capacity for it, but we will get the RECs and renewable energy credits, as well as the capacity too. So on the next slide, we're going to kind of apply a few numbers to this, what this looks like for you. It starts out with a $73 per megawatt charge. This is the energy charge. There's an estimated capacity value of $4.35. We have RECs, the renewable energy credits, at $24. So the estimated for the first 5 years would be $44.84. In 2033, there's an escalator of $5, but then that stays flat. So that's not a continual escalator like you see in some contracts where they might go 2% escalator each year. This one raises to $5, and then it stays level after that. So we've baked in a all-in cost here of about $44.84. Now, full disclosure, that's incorporating what you would get for capacity and you would get for the RECs, which will be sold in Virginia. We always try to sell to the highest place we can when we want to sell the RECs. Virginia allows us to have these produced in Kentucky, but then transferred or sold into the Virginia market. So $44 for the first 5 years, and then it goes up to $5 to go to $49 and that. And so I'll just make a mention on this here too while we're on that page. The worst that could possibly happen on this, let's say we don't get any capacity whatsoever for it, and we don't get anything for credits. The worst it would be $73 for the first 5 years, and then it would be $78. Keep in mind that the solar phase 1 had a project rate of $87. So this is still a really good deal in terms of apples, trying to make it apples to apples in terms of front of the meter and behind the meter. So that would be the worst case scenario for this particular project. But going forward, we know that obviously environmental concerns are still going to be there. So we're still going to get RECs for it. And capacity, which I'm going to show you too, is going to continue to go up, like transmission. So unfortunately, we're hedged. Well, I should say unfortunately those are going up, but for this project, we're trying to hedge as much of the risk as possible by going it this way. Next page, this really kind of just shows you another graph. This would look like the blue line there, that is what we estimate the project being. Right now, at the time we were doing this and we were thinking about what this would look like a little bit down the road, estimates now have power at $65, market power at 65 rather than 60. And with everything going up with a 2% escalator in inflation, this project, if you did nothing at all for this at all, this would be about $96 for that particular project. But because we're trying to, like I said, hedge all of this capacity and the transmission and everything baked into this, we're keeping this basically at a flat line for the length of the project. Now that will vary a little bit, just based upon the ebb and flow of RECs. But certainly, you know, capacity is going to be a constant, and RECs may bounce around a little bit. We actually might get a little bit more, there might be a little bit less. But the worst case scenario, like I said, is $79 for all in. On slide 13, the graphic here now shows just what this would look like if this were a part of your portfolio, the 3 megawatts. And at this point, I would say to you that the financial impact that you would see from this particular project, in megawatts, would be about 40 cents a megawatt. Convert that down into kilowatts, you would see probably for this particular project, it was calculated by our planning department, you would see about a 0.04 cent increase. So it has a rather negligible effect on your overall rates at just 0.04 cents per kilowatt. So you can see it's not a very large project that you're being a part of. So it's not very capital intensive like some of the others like Prairie State and AFEC, but it does fit well into your portfolio in terms of if you're especially looking to put in a renewable source into it. On slide 14, this is kind of just showing you here just kind of the craziness in terms of the market. For quite some time, up until 2008, before the recession, there was a lot of this, you're becoming involved in AFEC and Prairie State and so forth, was done just prior to that spike. And that's when we thought market prices were going to go through the roofs, hence the dotted line going up there. Well, with fracking and everything else, the natural gas came down, which is kind of what we now use as sort of the source for a lot of energy prices. And you can see what the effect, it went back up here in about 2022, the Ukraine war, that spiked. But now we're seeing, you know, prices for power leveling now more at about the 65 range, as I said a little bit earlier. So are we going to probably see those sub $4? Probably not. Just saying that, It was nice, we enjoyed it for a while, but unfortunately, it's probably not in our future, at least something that low. But that shows you just kind of what the market does look like. Now I'm going to kind of go into the transmission for you. And these are the things that really, if you're looking at things that affect the rates here in Napoleon, it does so everywhere else. So Napoleon is not the only one absorbing these particular costs I'm going to go through right now. These are something industry-wide. So the investor-owns, co-ops, everybody's paying higher transmission costs as well as capacity too. But the bright side of this, these bars that the planning department has depicted for you, the white is what you would be paying for the transmission costs, and the red bar is actually what you do pay for the transmission. So this is the wheeling and utilizing First Energy's lines to get the power to Napoleon. And like I said, this is across the board, really everywhere that everybody is now absorbing higher transmission costs because there's actually more money being invested by the IOUs to build more transmission lines, hence that's going up. So to balance this out and to hedge against it, you have two other resources, the AMP-CT and the JV2s. These are peaking plants. Of course, one is right here in Napoleon. And these actually do help to bring those particular transmission costs down as well as the capacity. So not only are you involved in those other assets, as I mentioned, like Prairie State and Fremont and so forth, but these also help because when the prices do get higher, we do run these assets to try to combat the higher market power. On the next slide, on 18, this is the PGM capacity. This is the third part of the cost that the other one transmission where these things just seem to be going up and up. You can see the graphs there that kind of depict it's sort of a never-ending increase, so to speak. They've been capped, okay, even though we have the capacity has been capped here, this auction price coming up. They've determined, though, that this is probably going to stay at this point here. Our planning department really does feel that going forward that these are probably going to remain very high, just like transmission costs. So, and unfortunately, no one can escape this. Again, it's like transmission. It's another pass-through to the customer. So Napoleon's not immune, and it's just something that's just commonplace now. The cost to deliver power, it just keeps going up. However, the good news to all this is that on the next page, you can see what you would pay on the white bar versus what you do pay. And that's because you are hedged very well in terms of all the different projects. So this does help to lower that, which it would be at $20 more. Did you have a question, Ross? Looked like
No, sir. No, I'm good. Thank you.
So here again, it's kind of bad news, but really you're kind of hedged in a better place, unlike a lot of other communities. So the next slide I have really kind of shows the effect of Winter Storm Fern. That's what they called it. Yes, that came in higher in January. We know the cold that we all experienced for quite some time. That's the effect that you had. We have it estimated here to go up. The red line is your forecast, the black line is the 25 actual, and the gray line is the 24. One of the things that kind of keep in mind too is that with all of these, and even with the solar too, is that you might be able to read, well, solar panels are actually coming down. That's very true. However, the cost to install these, the cost to purchase the land for solar, labor costs and so forth are all going up, and it does have a more negative approach on solar, even though people may read, well, solar seems to be getting more expensive. Minus the tax credits, solar, in some cases may or may not pencil out, but in this particular one here, we're pretty confident for the city of Napoleon that this would be a pretty good deal for you. Almost finally here, you can see on the next page here, this is the annual power rates that we have. Excuse me. So we have here in 2026, this is wholesale, at $94, and then it goes up through 2030 at about $104. But keep in mind here too that the blue, that's the actual power itself. So there's really not a whole lot of movement on the power as much as it is for transmission capacity. That's the white and the gray that you see on there. So you can see as I started with this presentation, the three parts of the bill, these two are catching up to being, you know, a very sizable amount that is really unavoidable to really some degree. And then finally, the last page here is really a snapshot our planning department took of Napoleon's rate of about 12.8 cents per kilowatt. And this lines you up here in terms of between Ohio, AEP Ohio, Ohio Edison, and Toledo Edison. So you still appreciate that delta between the 12.8 of Napoleon, 18.4 for Toledo Edison, 18.7 for Ohio Edison, and 20.5 cents per kilowatt for the AEP. So that is a shortened, sort of condensed version of what this would look like, Bright Mountain, for the city, and I'll be glad to take any kind of questions.
That was a lot of information.
Well, yeah, there is, and I think too, for the sake of you making your decisions on things, there's really not a big negative effect to participating in this project. It has a rather minimal effect on rates here, which that's obviously what we always try to do for our members.
Thank you for all the information. Are there any questions from council?
I have a question. Beginning, you were talking about how you were going to do a comparison of how the fixed rate, you come about with the fixed rate. I didn't really catch that when you were discussing this, so I didn't know if you could go over that.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, yeah, what I was trying to do, I'm sorry, what was your name?
Brittany.
Brittany. So I was trying to do Brittany is kind of show here the difference between the $87 for project rate for your solar phase one that's currently here, and then that on that, let's see what slide that's on page 11. So what I wanted to do is just kind of show that fixed rate that we have of $44 after you factor in the capacity, the RECs, and 44 for the first 5 years, and then it goes up by $5 as a part of the contract.
So how do you generate these numbers, knowing that that it's not generating now, comparing off another solar farm to get where you are at this point?
Sure, no, that's a great question. What we're doing is we're taking what the developer gave to us and the timeline in which we have to act. We're pretty confident that we're going to get enough megawatts through all the other members that we're, subscribing this particular project to. So they've given us sort of, these are fixed numbers in terms of, so we don't want to put a lot of variable going forward, so we don't want a lot of up and down. So they've given this contract price to us, and it starts off at the $73. So that's the top. After 5 years, it goes up to 79, okay? And provided, well, I shouldn't say provided, but let's just say, like I said earlier, capacity, we don't get anything, which is not going to be the case. And those RECs will always be worth something, would always be less than the 73 or the $78 rather, I'm sorry, $78 that it would be going forward. And then the comparison I was trying to make was this rate compared to your solar phase one is $87.
Okay.
So that's what I was trying to just give you an apples to apples, sort of.
Okay.
Did that help?
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Anything else?
Just a real quick one, I might have missed it, like on page 16, if we look at like the 2026, the forecast numbers, 2026, 2027, Are those forecasts for the transmission charges, probability of, you know,
Yes, yeah, so what we use those for, Tom, we use those, that's all forecasted by our planning department. So we've taken in, and how we get to those numbers is really, we look at the investor owns and what they are doing to make capital improvements. So transmission, you're using First Energy's lines to get power here, so you have to pay that toll. We know how much each year transmission is going to be. We know that because we look at their website to see just exactly what they're going to spend on capital projects. They make it pretty clear when you go to their website, because they have a responsibility to their stakeholders, their shareholders rather, to, you know, kind of show what kind of investments they're going to make. It's easy for us to glean then what they're going to be charging just based upon what they have. So it's pretty solid numbers that we have.
that's what I was asking.
Harry?
Yes.
Along those lines with the transmission, is there any oversight for these people that are putting the investments in for the transmission? So they're not,
Gold plating
Yeah.
everything?
Great question, and yes. So we do, because of AMP-T, and I know Napoleon is familiar with AMP-T, that's, I guess, sort of, I don't say it's our watchdog, but we're now a part of the discussions that take place at the federal level. So we can see what kind of things are being done, because some of these guys, they're divesting themselves of generation. They're getting into the now transmission lines, because the ROI on those are much better, obviously. And we're trying to keep track of that. Obviously, in AMT, we have a seat at the table to sort of see what's going on. Then, of course, they report back to us and what that looks like. So do we have, yes, we can see it. Is there much of an oversight? I mean, you hope that FERC and NERC are doing those things too, but that's about the best I can answer. At least we know what's going on now, because we're in the talks with the other investor owns as transmission owners.
thank you.
Anything else? Good discussion. Harry, thank you again. We
Pleasure.
really appreciate it, and I think this will continue discussion in item J, so we will be there shortly. But unless there's anything else on the Bright Mountain Solar presentation, we'll move on to item E, the Napoleon Power and Light RP3 designation.
So you get to hear from me again.
Okay.
Okay, it's congratulations to you, because what really that shows, RP3, Renewable Public Power Provider. It's a distinction that has been created by the APPA, and it does help with identifying, so I had to cheat here a little bit, my apologies, but it does factor in reliability, safety, workforce development, and system improvement. This is really a big effort on the part of communities to do this, because you're putting in a lot of effort, a lot of time to kind of prove that you have a very reliable system. I would also suggest too that this is a very good thing to market to any customers interested in coming here, especially investor-owned or larger industrial customers, because they are looking for that difference maker in reliability in a lot of cases. Even if there's a little disparity in rates, to them, production means everything, and they love to know that you have reliability baked in. And this really goes through, you've had to prove to APPA, American Public Power Association, that this was something you worked hard to get, and it really proves that, you know, there's a lot going on here for Napoleon, especially for its customers. So congratulations on that. By the way, what level did you get, Ross?
Platinum.
Platinum. Terrific.
Yeah. Thank you, Harry.
Is this your first application to it, by the way? Do you know, or?
This is our second, it's our third.
Okay.
Third, yes.
Well, congratulations then, because that was a lot of work on your part as well. to do that.
Come back and
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just goes to speak to Greg, yourself, and your staff. We talk about it all the time, the reliability we have during these storms. You know, we're not measuring outages by the day or even hours, it's by the second or minute, if that. So we appreciate all the work that you do to ensure we have reliable, trustworthy electric service to our residents. So thank you again. Harry, would you and Greg mind coming up and taking a picture with this
Sure.
award?
Well, we're gonna have committee chair. You want-
Lori, you wanna hop up?
you want to-
I'm still here.
You can hand it off to Greg.
Where to put them all?
Everyone take one step that way. So you're the,
There we go.
you're Napoleon.
To the center.
One, two, three. One, two, three, and one, two.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here, except I'm gonna ask you to squish some more. And what you might, what you might do is turn your body like 45 degrees so that the front of one shoulder is touching the back of the guy in front of you. It's not weird, take my word for it. All right, here we go, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna take another, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies.
Good to see you, Harry.
Thanks, Eric. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Lori,
Appreciate
thanks so
it.
much. Oh, my pleasure.
And then, if you wouldn't mind,
It's up to you. Whatever you
just give to Jen, if she wants
Okay.
one. She's got one.
I have those one.
All right, Harry, thank you again. We are gonna move to item F, the approval of minutes. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes shall stand approved from the March 16th, 2026 regular council meeting. I'm hearing none, those will stand approved. Item G is citizen communication. If anyone is in attendance tonight, they would like to address council for any matters outside of the agenda topics, now would be the time to do so. Hearing none there. Item H, reports from council committees. H1, the Finance and Budget Committee met on March 23rd, 2026 at 5:30 PM. And Tom, I'll kick it to you for that.
And the committee recommended to council to approve the 2026 first quarter budget adjustments.
Thank you, sir. H2, the Safety and Human Resource Committee did not meet on March 23rd due to lack of agenda items. H3, the Personnel Committee met on March 27th at 4:50 and entered into executive session to review candidates for law director with no action taken. And H4, the Technology Committee did not meet on April 6th, 2026 due to lack of agenda items. That will bring us to item J, introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. J1 is ordinance number 006-26, an ordinance creating the non-bargaining position of electric line foreman for the city of Napoleon, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Lori.
Thank you, Council President. This is the electric department position that we have been discussing that will allow us to continue our succession work within the department. So tonight I'm asking for the motion to pass the ordinance, of course, and then suspension too, if you'd be willing, so we could get that posted immediately.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions or comments on this ordinance?
Motion for suspension.
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll on suspension.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Meredith,
Yes.
Victor, Jordan.
All right, unless there's any other discussion. I'm hearing none. Marissa, please call the roll on the ordinance.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Meredith,
Yes.
Victor,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
All right, that will pass on first read with suspension under emergency. Item J2 is resolution number 007-26, a resolution to approve the form and authorize the execution of Bright Mountain Solar Schedule with American Municipal Power, Inc., and taking of other actions in connection therewith, and declaring an emergency.
Motion?
Second.
Thank you. Lori?
Thank you, Council President. This is the resolution that Harry Phillips just presented on, and so this would be first read to approve the purchase agreement.
Thanks, Lori. I know we just had discussion on this topic, but are there any other questions or comments that would like to be made?
Just appreciate all the clarification and put a lot of my concern to bed.
Anything else? All right, I'm hearing none. Marissa, please call the roll on the resolution.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right, now we'll move on to second read. Harry, thank you again. We really appreciate your time. Safe travels.
Thank you very much.
Item J3 is resolution number 008-26, a resolution authorizing the city of Napoleon to remain in the Maumee Valley East Chip Consortium in order to submit an application for the fiscal year 2026 Community Housing Improvement Program funds to the Ohio Development Services Agency and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
Thank you. Lori?
Thank you, Council President. This is an annual housekeeping resolution. It's a program administered by the Maumee Valley Planning Organization to fund owner-occupied home repairs and rehabilitation for low to moderate income residents. So this program focuses on health and safety issues like roofing, siding, plumbing, and lead hazard control. This is a pass-through for the city, so in this case, it wouldn't be out of order to suspend it, but if you choose not to, it can go 3 reads as well. But I think this has been a program for the last 21 years, so helpful and important. So, Kevin, is that correct?
Yeah.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions here? Anything to add?
As for us, it's just like what Lori said, it's a pass-through, it's an in and out. So while we budget the numbers for this, anything that we have going out is coming in, so it's a zero-sum game for us. I guess the only thing else that I could add to this program, that it's been very good program for the city of Napoleon as well as in Henry County, because it allows people, homeowners that can't afford, say, a new roof or something, are able to obtain funds to have that roof done, repaired, with stipulations. They certainly can't sell it within a certain period of time, so it's not money-making for them. So it's a good source of government funds.
Thanks, Scott. Any other questions or comments from council? Can we have a motion for suspension?
No motion?
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll on suspension.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
And one more time for the resolution, please.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right, perfect. That will pass on first read with emergency and suspension. Item J4 is ordinance number 009-26, an ordinance supplementing the annual appropriation measure, supplement number 1, for the year 2026, and declaring an emergency.
Motion?
Second.
Thank you. Kevin, you want that one?
Yes, thank you, Council President. We just had 4 or 5 supplementals for the first quarter. This is the one that does raise our budget numbers. So they are mostly minor items unless there was some changes we made. Just the one line item under memberships and dues, we just didn't budget enough for that line item. But if I go down to the 253 One Ohio Fund, that has been an increase because of our discussion with the man unit. So we're just taking steps now that if the second read doesn't pass or the third read doesn't pass of that man unit, then this will just be done for nothing, but we're just trying to be proactive for that. And then we had Fund 300, which is a general bond retirement fund. The debt has been completed and the money needs to be moved back to where the money came from, so it came out of the 400 capital fund. So we did a budget adjustment to zero out that fund, just sort of cleaning that item up. And then the last one there in the 400 fund, you're gonna see the $10,000 in there for the possible transfer to the 130 Economic Development Fund for the program that we're in development for that. And I do ask for suspension on these so that we could close out the quarter.
Thanks, Kevin. Any questions or comments from council?
Kevin, as far as asking for the suspension, on a finance basis, is there a reason why we get to the point where we gotta do a suspension when it has to be the quarter? Like,
Well-
I'm not in finance, so I don't know.
Well, we can't do these and finalize these until it's passed for 3 reads. If we don't do that, then that means I can't close out the month of March or the first quarter until, if this goes for 3 reads.
Okay,
So either I'm not closing out the month of March until May, or if you all want to come back for special meetings, we could do that too. But that's why we've always asked for suspension on these. Just, if there's certainly questions, we can certainly wait and go like to a second read. I'm not saying that's not an issue, but it just, for financial wise, it allows us to continue to close the books to move forward to the next month. If we don't, we're still gonna pay bills, we're still gonna do payroll, things like that. It just tightens it up a bit.
okay, I was just trying to understand a little bit why the suspension was there. Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess it's just a matter of how often we meet.
Mm.
You know, if we were a body that met every week, per se,
Yeah.
then, yeah, let it go. I just can't close out until later, but because we only meet consistently 2 times a month, it just makes it a little less difficult for us.
Yeah, I think even the way that we draft legislation for this has changed year over year. In the past, we wouldn't draft legislation until tonight, and then we're voting on it at the end of April, so we're almost a month behind at that point. So Kevin made that change when he came in. It's streamlined things a bit, so I appreciate that. But good question.
I would add that Kevin does an excellent job in the finance and budget meeting to go over each one of these lines, so we have the opportunity to ask all the questions and make sure everything is in order before it comes here also.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, Kevin.
Any other questions? Okay. Do we have a motion for suspension?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dr. Davis.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Meredith.
Yes.
Victor,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
All right, and one more time for the ordinance, please.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dr. Davis.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Meredith.
Yes.
Victor,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
All right, that is passed on first read with emergency under suspension. Item J5 is the ordinance number 010-26, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make appropriation transfer of appropriation 1 from one appropriation line item to another appropriation line item pursuant to ORC section 5705.40 for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026, as listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Go.
So this next one here does not increase our budget. It's just taking budgeted funds from one line item to the other. So as things go out throughout the year, we need to make some adjustments. Just going down through here, the first 2, we need to move funds to do more advertising for law, HR, and other positions that we weren't aware of when we did this budgeting process back in November. We had a large purchase item in the central garage, the tire changer basically no longer able to be fixed, and we had to scramble to get some funds to purchase that. That was about a $10,000 item that was not budgeted. So we try to make amends to get this, so we just don't wait till next year to purchase. It's something they use on a daily, weekly basis with that. So those are in there. The 437 fund, we're just taking money from water improvements into street improvements, so that's in the same fund. And that fund there is the North Perry Street Project Fund. So the funds are all there. It's just that we just need to move 10,000 at this time from water to streets. And that's it. The other one was central garage. So again, we asked for suspension on that.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions or comments on this ordinance? If not, is there a motion for suspension?
Motion. Second.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right, and one more time for the ordinance, please.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right, that'll pass on first read with suspension under emergency. And we will go to item J6, resolution number 011-26, a resolution authorizing the finance director to transfer certain fund balances, transfer number 1, from respective funds to other funds pursuant to ORC section 5705.14 on an as-needed basis in fiscal year 2026, as listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
Okay, so just for clarification, we move money from fund to fund on a monthly basis, but that is one of the resolutions that is passed during the 8 that we do for the budget. But these items here are not part of that list. So when they're not part of the list, we have to come back and add them to it. And so we have 2, because we don't have these every quarter, is again, the cleanup of the 300 fund. It had that $16,894.48 in it. The debt is now paid for. The money initially came from the 400 fund, so we're just putting that back as a cleanup with that on our end, because it wouldn't hurt if the money stayed in the 300 fund, but it has no purpose with that. And then the 400 fund to the 130 fund is once that economic development project or is all passed and confirmed, then if it's done next week to the end of the year, that allows us to then move the $10,000 from the capital fund to that 130 fund. If that project would not move forward, I'll say, then we just wouldn't move the money. But this just allows us that liberty to do that when we get to that time. So, and we ask for suspension on this too.
Thanks for the explanation, Kevin. Any questions or comments from council? Is there a motion for suspension?
Motion.
Second.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right, and one more time for the resolution.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right, that will also pass on first read under emergency and suspension. Thank you, Kevin, appreciate your help on those. Item K, second reading of ordinances and resolutions. K1 is resolution number 005-26, a resolution authorizing a contribution to the man unit and for the year 2026 from the One Ohio Recovery Foundation Fund and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Lori?
Thank you, Council President. This is second read to approve the contribution that we have discussed and found to be appropriate use of the One Ohio funds, settlement dollars. And as Kevin stated, the funds are now available. So if this is approved tonight and the next meeting, then we'll be able to move forward with our contribution to a really important program. So.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions or comments from council? I'm hearing none. Marissa, please. call the roll. Oop.
Tried to talk to Nicole. She came and spoke to us.
Yep.
And I tried to contact her several times to ask her questions about this fund or this program, and I could not get a hold of her. She wouldn't sit down and meet with me, to answer my questions.
I'm sure we can arrange a sit down. Did you have any questions here that,
I feel like this program, it like,
if not, we can always
Yeah,
take it off
maybe-
to Nicole?
yeah, I'll wait to talk to her whenever.
Yep,
Laura,
I'll
could you
take care of
help?
that, yes.
Arrange something there. Okay. Anything else before the vote for the second reading? All right, hearing none. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
No,
Jordan?
Yes.
All right, that will move on to third read. Item L is third reading of ordinances and resolutions. There are none this evening. Item M1, discussion for action, renewal of liquor permits in the city of Napoleon. Lori.
Thank you. This is renewal of all Class C and D retail permits for alcohol sales in the city. This, we've heard before, council's silence on the matter is considered acceptance. I know of no issues with any businesses, retailers, and I would ask the chief. No.
All right. So this is just like an annual touch base?
Yes.
Of the process?
Yeah, I believe they file online to continue. If there are no issues, that just continue as usual.
Easy. Anybody have any questions or comments on the liquor permit process? All right. We'll move to item.
Can you read those?
M2.
Those are all the liquor permits, if you want to read.
We
them.
don't need approval or anything for
Nope,
permits,
nope.
okay. M2, discussion or action, abandonment of the fuel tank at the fire station. Request for legislation to waive the bidding process. Lori?
All right, we talked about this during budget time, the underground fuel tanks at the fire department. We were looking to possibly have those removed, and as Chad is here, he can speak to this better than I, but as he looked into cost and whatnot, he found the opportunity to actually close the tanks in place, and this would be the process for that. Chad, can you offer any more for that?
Yes, when we contacted the state of Ohio, we were made aware that on rare occasions, depending on the site conditions, they will allow you to abandon tanks in place. We made application, and some of the issues outlined in that application were the proximity to the foundation of the fire department, the proximity to one of our larger water lines, as well as some other buried electric, buried water service, buried gas, storm sewer. There's a lot of stuff in the way. We were successful in getting that approval, so now instead of the process of having those dug up and removed, there's a separate process we have to go through to allow us to abandon those in place. In the past, when we have removed tanks or worked with tanks, we worked with an individual, his name is Mike Kuhnfair. Mike is currently employed by, I don't want to misstate this, Civil and Environmental Consultants Incorporated. Because of Mike's familiarity with the city of Napoleon and the removal of past tanks, and because Mike did assist me in obtaining this permit to abandon in place, I would like to have legislation to waive the quality-based selection process, and also in that legislation allow us to enter into a contract with CEC and move forward with getting these tanks removed. I did include an estimated cost in their proposal. It is $79,500. A portion of that is dependent upon what they find and how that, the line item for soil boring, monitoring well installation, that's a time and material. We're hopeful that it would come in under, but we are under budget, so if it would run slightly over, we still would have enough money in the budget to cover those costs. But because of the proximity to the fire station, I'd really prefer not to try digging these things out of the ground. But I do request legislation to allow us to continue down this path to get that tank out of service before we have a major leak. I know to keep it in service, we're going to see a large investment. The software and the controls are not good. We've been told we have to do something with those, and that's not inexpensive. I'm not sure if you remember a cost on that. I know it's quite a bit.
Yes, probably like 40 to 50.
Yeah, just to keep the controls and the software up to date. We do have tanks at the operations department, and staff is also able to get fuel through the use of our fuel cards at the majority of the stations in town. So we don't believe this will be too much of a change. It may be a little bit of an inconvenience, but we'd like to get these tanks abandoned before we have a disaster.
Thank you, Chad.
Yep.
So we're just seeking a motion for the legislation tonight.
Yes.
I've got a
Any
question.
questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just curious. Is when you abandon a tank, what's the process? Do we have to monitor it, or it does it become filled with something?
The tanks will be pumped out. They would then be filled as well, and then we have to install monitoring wells around it. Basically, they're like 6 to 8 inch holes that would go around the tank, and then there's equipment used to monitor those, and generally I believe the monitoring period is for 5 years. Assuming they don't find any issues, then we're good. If there is an issue, then at that time, they would have us come in, and they have a method for injection into the wells and things of that nature to stabilize what they're finding. We don't expect to find anything. We've done monitoring wells in the past on some of the older properties in town. We reclaimed the Hograve property, the Corf property on Commerce Drive, but that's the process.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments? Can I have a motion to direct the law director to draft legislation, please?
I believe we just need a simple motion to approve this. Is that correct?
I mean, direct draft.
Do we need to draft?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Meredith.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
M3, discussion for action, award of the industrial drive replacement project. Word.
All right, I'll just let Chad stand up here and talk the rest of the night, probably. The bids were open last week for our industrial drive replacement project, and like I said, Chad is here with a lot more information.
As the city manager stated, we opened bids last week for the industrial drive pavement replacement project. This project will replace the asphalt pavement from the end of the concrete pavement for 345 feet north of there, which is about where we had extended it 10, 12 years ago. This section is the only remaining section of industrial drive from when that was originally built by the state of Ohio. We have some very deep rutting, and it's almost impassable for semis that are low boys, the low trailers coming off the scales. They drag when they cross the pavement. We received 4 bids last week. The low bidder was Hohenbrink Excavating LLC. Their bid was $219,642.99. The engineer's estimate for this project was $270,000. Having reviewed the bids and having worked with Hohenbrink in the past, we do recommend awarding of this project to Hohenbrink Excavating LLC in the amount of $642.99.
Big Chad. Questions or comments on this one? Can I have a motion to award the bid to Hohenbrink Excavating LLC?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Meredith,
Yes.
Victor,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
All right, that has been approved. Item M4, discussion or action to purchase road salt for the Ohio Department of Transportation. Lori?
This is our annual contract, and it's usually a surprise. Yeah.
Yes, for the newer members of council, we purchase salt through a contract by the state of Ohio. It's the best way to get pricing. However, every spring this comes up and we're given almost no notice of when it's due. I received an email late last week and then another one today. This has to be submitted to the state of Ohio by May 1st. So, yeah, we usually end up with one meeting where I request the legislation and then we bring it back in 2 weeks and we'll need emergency suspension. But historically, we bought salt through the state of Ohio purchasing program. There was 1 year we weren't able to. We've paid anywhere from $32 a ton to $75 a ton. The year we didn't go through the state of Ohio, I believe it was $132 a ton. So we're just asking for council to direct the law director to draft the legislation to allow us into this purchasing contract with the state of Ohio.
Thank you, Chad. All right, any questions or comments? Can I have a motion to direct the law director, please?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Meredith.
Yes.
Victor.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
All right. We will go to item N around the table. Lori, I'll start with you this evening.
All right. Battle of the Badges blood drive took place today at the Legion. Both Chief Legg and Chief Bowen represented their departments on the radio and did a fabulous job, so thank you guys for that. This is my last meeting before I'll be off for a little bit of time, and so at the end of the week, you'll have the letter. Chad has agreed to be the acting city manager for the 2 weeks that I'll be gone, returning on May 4th, I think will be the first day back. So I would like to request an executive session very, very briefly for the consideration of purchase or sale of property. And I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, Lori. Tony, anything for you?
I don't believe I have anything, thank you.
All right. Meredith?
Nothing for me.
Tom?
Nothing, thank you.
Dr. Dave?
Nothing.
Mr. Mayor?
Just a couple of things. Congratulations again to the electric department. I mean, I've been on either council or mayor for about 11, 12 years now, and I've heard this over and over and over, how awesome our electric department is, and they're still proving that they do a great job. Since Chad didn't talk enough today, I have a couple of questions for Chad. What street projects are planned for 2026?
For the remaining paving projects, so I had it in the memo, but I didn't mention it. Industrial Drive, the funds for that project came out of what we term our miscellaneous street improvement projects. We were waiting to do the paving project to put that together until we knew what we had left in the budget. We now know, and what I spoke with staff today, there is enough remaining. We plan to pave 5th Street from Meekison to Brownell. We plan to pave Brownell from 5th Street to the dead end. And those are the 2 streets where my staff installed the water lines last year. They were the only 2 streets in that neighborhood we didn't get paved. We plan to pave West Maumee from Perry Street to the court limit, out essentially Hubble Road. And then we're also going to repave Wood Drive, the street there with Taco Bell and Dairy Queen and Wendy's. That street's not good. It's getting rough. And that Right now, I believe we have approximately $290,000 in that budget. I have not gone through the estimate yet. Staff gave me the estimate today. Their number currently is at $270,000. I want to go through it and check it. So I think we're going to be about right where we want to be, but that's the only remaining project to bid this year that would be a street project.
Are we doing Harmony also?
That's
this year?
its own project,
Right.
but yes, North
Okay.
Harmony, we will be taking out the concrete, North Harmony in Indiana. The concrete street portions, we awarded that project. I do not have a schedule yet, but we will be taking out that concrete and installing asphalt. And then, as we mentioned, industrial, we'll be taking out the asphalt and installing concrete. And then also, as part of the North Perry Street project, when the work there is done, Railroad Street will be paved from Scott Street to Oakwood, Perry Street will be paved from the tracks to Clinton, and Shelby Street will be paved from Scott Street to Perry.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate the information.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Brittany?
Are all the tornado sirens working?
We've had two that have, yes.
Have we been able to find a maintenance company? In the past, we were talking about somebody passed away and we couldn't find somebody. Okay.
Right. Yeah, that conversation stopped as we talked about the digital alerts that went out, and I think we were talking about an education plan or something along those lines while we decided if we were going to invest in the replacement. I'd have to refresh.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been a while.
Yes.
All right.
But it is that time,
Thank you.
unfortunately.
Yeah, right. I have nothing else, thank you.
I was gonna say nothing, but hat tip to Chad for being able to rattle all that off.
Right.
Top of
I was
my head.
impressed.
That was impressive.
I have to picture it in my head.
You did well.
Victor?
No.
Kevin?
Nah, good, thank you.
All right. I will also have an executive session for personnel. If we could have a motion to go into executive session for personnel to consider the employment of a public official, please.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right. And one more for the consideration for purchasing or selling of property, please.
Motion.
Second.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
And for the property discussion, Chad, I will invite you back. We'll start. We have a motion to come out of executive session to consider employment of a public employee, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right. No action taken. Can we have a motion to direct our city manager to negotiate an employment agreement with a law director candidate, please?
Motion.
Second.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
And can we also have a motion to come out of executive session for the consideration for the purchase or sale of property, please?
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
No action taken there. Item O, approve payment of bills. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the payment of bills shall stand approved. They will stand approved. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned.